Hello dear viewers, my name is Fardeen Nouri and I'm an immigration consultant in Germany. Today I would like to explain for you how you can fill in the attachment EK of the main application of Jobcenter. EK is the abbreviation for Einkommensverhältnisse, and in English it means income. In fact, Jobcenter wants to find out through this attachment if you are someone who is living in your community of need or in your family who is 15 years old or above 15 years old has an income or not. Now I would like to explain for you how you can fill this form in. Actually, this form is made up of two parts. The first part is on the left side of this application form, and this part from the beginning till the end of this application you fill it in by yourself or someone else fills it in for you. But the other side, the right side, this part is actually for Jobcenter employees, and they have to fill it in. They will fill it in, so you do not have to write anything on this side till the end of this application. Part 1 is about the personal information of the applicant. So as an applicant, you write your last name here, your first name here, your date of birth here, and your gender here. As a man, you write M or männlich. As a lady or a woman, you write weiblich or we. Nummer der Bedarfsgemeinschaft means number of the benefit community. It has a reference number actually. And the abbreviation for Nummer der Bedarfsgemeinschaft is BG number. If you have already registered yourself in Jobcenter, you should have a BG number given to you by the Jobcenter. This number is usually written on the upper corner of the right side of the letter you receive from Jobcenter. Actually, a benefit community or Bedarfsgemeinschaft can be you yourself alone, if you're living alone, or if you're living with your wife or husband, or with your civil registered partner, or if you're living with a boyfriend or girlfriend, or the children who are living with you who are not married and capable of work and or under 25 years of age and they do not have assets. Anyways, if you've already got this number from Jobcenter, then you should write it here. Of course, if you have this number, if you do not have it, then you leave this part open. In part 2, you write the information about yourself or the person in your family who is 15 years old or above 15 years old and work or has income. So, if you are the person who has income in your family, you write your details here, and in the rest of this form, you write the information about your income. And if another person who is 15 years old or above 15 years old in your family and he or she works or has income in your family, then you write the details about this person, and the rest of the form is also about this person who has income. So we presume that you have a person in your family who is 15 years old or above 15 years old. We fill in this form for this person. Here you write his or her last name, here the first name, here the date of birth, here the gender of him or her. Part 3 is about the income, and it's worth mentioning that the Jobcenter benefits or the citizenship benefits, which in German means Bürgergeld, is not an income. So you do not have to provide information about the job center benefits here or below. If he or she has an income from a work he or she is doing in full-time or part-time next to his or her main job as a second job or as a mini job, you mark here with a cross, and here you write the name and the address of his or her employer. If he or she gets his or her salary in the same month he is working or she is working, you mark here with a cross. If he or she gets the salary in the next month, you mark here. You should also send the payroll of this person to the job center. The job center may also ask you to send to them the filled-in Einkommensbescheinigung or the income confirmation, which should be filled in by the employer of this person and then should be sent to the job center. The job center may also ask this person to choose a better tax class or Steuerklasse in Germany. If this person has done this job in his or her vocation while being in a school, then you mark here with a cross. If this has been a non-profit or volunteer work for which this person has received expense allowance or lump sums free of taxes, you mark here with a cross. Here you write the type of the work, and here you write the date in which he or she has received this money. In addition, you should provide to the job center proofs about the work he or she has done, the type of the work, the extent of the expense allowance or lump sums, the date in which he or she has received the money, and how much of the money he or she has spent for his or her work. It is worth mentioning that if one of these parts is not true about this person, you should leave them open and you should not fill them in, and you only draw a line on them like this, here or here like this, and so on. If he or she has done a self-employed work, which could also be in the agriculture or forestry, you mark here with a cross, and in this case you should also fill in the attachment EKS and send to them together with this attachment. If he or she gets unemployment benefit based on the third book of the social code, you mark here with a cross, and you should also send to the job center a copy of the Bewilligungsbescheid of the Agentur für Arbeit or a copy of the decision of the employment agency about the fact that this person is going to be paid and how much he or she will be paid. If the entitlement to unemployment benefit is being suspended to this person due to a blocking period according to the third book of the social code, or it has expired, you mark here with a cross, and you should also send to the job center a proof about it. If he or she gets pensions, for example, from statutory social security such as old age pension, disability pension, minors compensation benefits, accident or injury pension, survivor's pension and basic pension, occupational pensions, foreign pensions, labor market pensions, and so on, you mark here with a cross, and you should also send to the job center a proof about it. If the maintenance of this person has been paid by his mother or father who is not living with this person together in the family, or if he or she is received or is receiving advanced child maintenance payments or Unterhaltsvorschuss, you mark here with a cross. And you should also send to the job center a proof about the fact that which type of maintenance he or she gets and how much he gets. If you have the current and regular income listed below, you should enter the type of income in the table below and provide an up-to-date evidence about it. If this person has income from renting or sub-renting or leasing something, or even if it is in the sector of agriculture and forestry, you mark here with a cross. If this person has other salary replacement benefits, for example, transitional benefits or sickness benefits, you mark here with a cross. If this person has non-cash benefits, for example, free catering service or free meals, you mark here with a cross. If this person gets housing benefits or other types of social benefits other than citizenship benefits, you mark here with a cross. If this person gets BAföG, Berufsausbildungsbeihilfe or Ausbildungsgeld, you mark here with a cross. If this person has other current income, for example, parental allowance, child allowance, care allowance, tips, income from a federal voluntary service, you mark here with a cross. And here, and here, you write the types of the income he or she has. Here you provide information about the one-time or one-off income and irregular income of this person. For example, his or her tax refunds, insolvency benefits, interest, or other capital gains, gifts, and so on. If he or she has one of them, then you mark here with a cross. If he or she has more than one of such incomes, you can provide the information about all of them below. You write the type of the income this person has here, the extent of the income or the money he or she receives or has received, and here the date in which he or she has received the income or the money. Similarly, you write the information about the second work here, and here. If he or she has more than two incomes, you can use another paper to provide information about those incomes as well. And you should also provide to the Job Center a proof about the type of incomes and the date in which he or she receives the money or the income. If he or she gets child benefit, you mark here with a cross, and you should send to the Job Center a copy of the Kindergeldbescheid or the decision of the Familienkasse about the child benefit of this person. If a person or more than one person in your family who is under 15 years of age has other types of incomes, for example, orphan's pension, accident or injury pension, maintenance payments, benefits under the Advanced Maintenance Act, social assistance under the 12th Book of Social Security Code, interests or capital gains, you mark here with a cross. And you can write the information about more than one person who is under 15 years of age here and here. You should write the last name of the child here, the first name here, and the type of the income he or she has here. Similarly, you write the information about the second child here. And you should also send a current proof about it to the Job Center. If the person mentioned in the part 2 of this attachment has none of the incomes mentioned above, you mark here with a cross. Part 4 is about the deductions from income or income-related expenses. And part 4.1 is about the expenses related to employment or vocational training. You should only provide information below in the following part. If your income from the employment exceeds 400 euros per month and your necessary expenses are more than 100 euros. If you earn up to 400 euros per month, 100 euros will be deducted as a lump sum as expenses. For the trainees in vocational trainings, for pupils or students, there are special regulations which are listed in the instructions for filling in the form. And the instructions for filling in the form will be sent to you by the job center. Or if you have not received it yet, you can find it in internet. If he or she has expenses for traveling between home and the work, you mark here with a cross, and here you write the address of his or her employer or the place he or she is working. Here you write the shortest way between his or her home and office or workplace in kilometers. Here you write how often in the week he or she travels to the work or goes to the work. If he or she goes to the work with a car, you mark here with a cross. And if he or she uses the public transportations, you mark here with a cross. And here you write the amount of the expenditure he or she has per month. For example, for the monthly ticket of the public transportations. If he or she uses the public transportation to go to the work, then you should provide to the job center a copy of the monthly ticket of this person. If he or she has the right to get money or grants from his or her employer or someone else or a third party for his travel costs to the work, then you mark yeah or yes with a cross. If it's not the case, then you mark 9 or no with a cross. And in addition, you should provide a proof about it, for example, a letter from his or her employer about it, that he or she gets this grant or not. If he or she has other job-related expenses, for example, if he has 2 apartments or 2 homes, or he expends money for the work materials which are not paid by his or her employer, you mark here with a cross. Here you write the type of the expenses, and here you write the amount or the extent of money he or she expends. If he or she has more than one expenses or many expenses, you can use another paper to write them in, and you should send that paper with this attachment to the job center. If he or she has additional expenses for meals due to a daily absence of at least 8 hours from home and the usual place of employment, without considering his or her 2 homes or 2 apartments, you mark here with a cross, and here you write the number of the days in the month he or she is absent from his or her home. For the days in which he or she is more than 8 hours absent from his or her home, and he or she provides proof about it, 14 euros will be considered as his or her expenses. And if he or she is absent from his or her home for a full day, which means 24 hours of absence, 28 euros will be considered as his or her expenditure or expenses. If he or she is absent for a minimum of 12 hours from his or her home, a lump sum of €6 is granted by the job center to him or to her. Part 4.2 is about the other deductions. If this person has a child which is not living with him or her in the family, you mark here with a cross. It is worth mentioning that this person can get an increased allowance or Freibetrag if he or she has a minor child. For minor children with whom this person is not living together, he or she should provide appropriate evidence for that. For example, a birth certificate or maintenance order, and so on. Of course, to the job center. If he or she pays for the maintenance of a person who is not living with him or her together in his or her family because of a maintenance order from a court, you mark here with a cross. Here you write the name of the person who has the right to get the maintenance. Here you write the type of the relationship this person has with the other person. If there is more than one person who has the right to get the maintenance from this person, you write the name of the second person here, and also the type of the relationship of the second person to this person here. And you should also send a copy of the maintenance order, for example, judgment or court agreement or maintenance certificate, to the job center, and provide proof of actual payments to the job center. If this person has a son or a daughter who is doing an Ausbildung or a vocational training and getting the support for his or her vocational training, for example, he or she is getting Berufsausbildungsbeihilfe or Ausbildungsgeld or BAföG, and his or her parents' income has been also considered, then you mark here with a cross. Here you write the last name of the child, and here you write the first name of the child. Similarly, you write the last name of the second child here and the first name of the second child here. And you should also send a proof about it to the job center. Part 4.3 is about the expenses for statutory insurances, and also if he or she has other incomes, the expenses for this income is also considered. For private insurances that are reasonable in principle and amount and do not belong to the insurances listed below, for example, liability or Haftpflicht, household content or Ausrat, are deducted from income at a flat rate of €30 per month. Therefore, you do not need to provide any information or evidence about these private insurances in order to get this lump sum of €30. So, in the following part, you provide information about the insurance premiums this person is paying. You should also provide proofs about each types of insurances this person is paying for. If he or she has a motor vehicle liability insurance or Kraftfahrzeughaftpflichtversicherung without partial Kasko or ohne Teilkasko, fully comprehensive or full Kasko, Schutzbrief or cover letter, you mark here with a cross. If he or she has other insurances required by law, for example, liability insurance for certain professional groups such as lawyers or midwives, you mark here with a cross. If he or she has contributions to subsidized retirement provision according to Article 82 of the Income Tax Act, for example, contributions to the Riester pension, you mark here with a cross. If he or she has a minor child as private insurance, you mark here with a cross, and you should write the last name of the child here, the first name here, and the type of his or her insurance here. Similarly, you provide information about the second child here. If there is no obligation to be insured in the statutory health or long-term care insurance and pension insurance, and its contributions are being paid for pension provision in the event of illness, the need for long-term care, and retirement provision, you mark here with a cross. This part is about the obligations to cooperate, and it says that in case of any changes in the level of income, for example, salary or expenses, including maintenance payments, you and the members of your community of need or family members are obligated to notify the job center immediately and submit to the job center appropriate evidence about it. And here you confirm that the information you have provided in this form are true and right. Here you write the name of the city where you and this person live, and you write the date in which you will send this form to the job center. As an applicant, you should sign here. As an applicant, if you're a minor child, your legal representative should sign here. And this part is for the job center employees, and they will fill in this part. That's why you should not fill in this part. Thanks a lot for watching my video. If you would like to get similar important information about the immigration laws in Germany, your rights and duties in German society, the living conditions in Germany, and other such important topics, please subscribe and follow our channel. If you have any questions or remarks about today's topic, you can write it under this video, and I will be more than happy to answer it for you.